Hi everyone, and welcome to the January public delivery meeting for Panquake.com. My name is Suzie Dawson, founder and Chief Product Officer of Panquake, and I'm here too with Sean O'Brien, our Chief Security Officer. I'm going to share screen and we'll jump into the presentation that we've prepared for you. Cool, so here we are. It is 1 year now since Panquake was just an idea, and we have come so far. As you know from last month's meeting, we now have a functioning application interface, which is an incredibly exciting position to be in, only 1 year since we first brought the idea of Panquake to the world. We're going to start by reviewing our overall project progress. So we are in the final phase of funding for Panquake, phase 3. In the first phase, we raised the $50,000 we needed to establish the business. And in the second phase, we raised the funds we needed to kick off the development of the beta application. In this final phase, we are raising the funds we need to deliver that application to the world. We are currently 25% funded in phase 3. We're at $171,000 out of the $667 that we will raise together to complete this phase and deliver Panquake to the world. In terms of the beta development, we're working on the blockchain design and build. We are still open for applications for the beta. You can go to panquake.com/5000 if you would like to be one of the first 5,000 people who ever use Panquake. We would love to have you, so go to that page, follow the steps, and sign up. We are systematically approving those beta applications in batches, and we will continue to keep that open until we have approved all 5,000 users. In terms of Talk Collaboration, our publishing arm at talkcollaboration.substack.com, many of you may have seen we had a really successful investigation we published there about the new social app Getter. That investigation was picked up by a number of mainstream media outlets, including the New Yorker, Daily Dot, Gizmodo, and others. Primarily authored by our Sean O'Brien. It's a deep dive technical investigation that anyone who has used or is considering using Getter will definitely want to check out. And you can find that at talkcollaboration.substack.com. In terms of development progress, last month we shared with you that we had a functioning application, that the key elements of our interface were in place on the dashboard. This month we can share with you that we have advanced the development of that interface to the point where the customizable features of it are now all functioning. That means that the drag and drop panels that we promised from the outset we would have, allowing you to swap around different components on our dashboard and make it look and function how you want it to, they are now complete. We have a default panel grid, a default design in order where those panels sit on the page, but you can move them around. It's like your own canvas that you can customize to your liking. That means that each of the drag and drop panels can be easily resized. You can make them shorter or fatter or taller or whatever you want to do with them. Drag them left, drag them right, drag them up, drag them down. Also, we've got cool pop-out functionality. So if you're working with a specific panel on the grid and you want that panel to pop out and take up more of the screen, you can do that as well, and then just escape to close it or hit the little cross button and click to close it when you're done with it, and it pops back into your grid. This is super versatile interface design, super advanced next generation design. And we're really, really proud of it. And it's so exciting to have it in place and to be able to play around with it. We also now have a fleshed out timeline layout. So our quakes, our messages that we create on Panquake are now visible in the timeline. So you can write those messages, send them, they appear correctly in the timeline. So that is the core functionality of the Panquake dashboard, done and dusted, which is absolutely huge. In the coming month, we will be working on some of the more refined features. The thunderquakes, the lovequakes, the cupquakes, that kind of stuff will be implemented. But the major pieces of the puzzle are done, dusted, in place on the interface, and that's so exciting and so fun. We can't wait to show it to you, and we can't wait for you to be able to use it for yourselves. So in terms of the near term for our delivery schedule, we thought we would share with you some of what we're up to. This week, we will, in fact, any day now, we will be releasing the WL Dragnet app open source. We'll be publishing the Git repo, and you will be able to see and review or audit the WL Dragnet app code. So that is us keeping a big promise we made from the outset, that code produced by our development team will always be released free and open source. The Panquake interface, which I was just talking about, we estimate that it's going to be completed by the last week of February. So really exciting to have the end of that process in view. We're also working right now on our infrastructure plan, and I'll let Sean speak to that. There are many elements involved in that, but it's a big part of how we are going to deliver sustainable services to our users. We're also working on our service plan, and this is a huge part of what our phase 3 funding is about. We're developing the systems, the processes, and canvassing the staff that we want to hire on for customer service, for account administration, for technical support, and for content moderation of Panquake, because it is super important to us to deliver not just a great product, but an amazing service and an amazing user experience. We know how important it is that when you reach out needing help for something, that you get that help, that it's professional, that it's fast, and that it's satisfactory to our users. So we're putting a lot of time and effort into making sure that happens. The Panquake blockchain development, we currently estimate will be completed by the last week of March. That obviously is a major component of our system, and it will be another huge milestone when we achieve our proof of concept for our Panquake blockchain. So looking forward to that. In terms of the WL Dragnet app FOSS release that I was just speaking about, this is what our Git looks like. It will be accessible to everyone. It has a little introduction which tells you about the app. Then it has all of the code files that are related to the build and some other documentation that is useful to anyone who is looking at what we've built. So we will be tweeting about that. We will be publishing a campaign update about that the second that it's live and ready to go. But as you can see, the work has already been done. One of the things that I think is most important about the WL Dragnet app, aside from the fact that it's pretty damn groundbreaking, that we haven't seen any kind of work like this from anywhere else, and that it's very impactful for the people whose lives have been directly affected by the types of social media mass surveillance that have been revealed to have been going on. From purely a software development perspective, it's also pretty significant because it is an example. It's the first example of the Panquake development team, as we would say in IT terms, successfully traversing the full SDLC, the full software development lifecycle. So the WL Dragnet app is an example of us planning a new solution, a new piece of software, a new service, documenting that, configuring it and implementing it, which means, building to spec, then actually producing the code, and then testing the code, which we've done quite extensively, revising it where required, and then deploying it. And we're right now, as you can see, up to the release stage in that life cycle. And then post-release, we'll be supporting and maintaining the WL Dragnet app and the Git going forward. So what we're really showing you here is that we have the skills, we've got the vision and the commitment and the people to start with to conceive an application and then to move through all of the stages to completion and delivering that application to our community. This is the same process that we're following with the Panquake application itself. Obviously, the Panquake application is a much bigger deal, a much bigger build, more complex build with more moving parts. And that's why we're moving through that process slower. WL Dragnet was much more simple, much easier to produce, but the process we're following is exactly the same. So the release of the WL Dragnet app can give our community confidence that A, we know what we're doing, B, we've got what we need in terms of people and smarts to pull something like this off. C, the design is gorgeous. Anyone who's seen it knows it's an absolutely stunningly beautiful design, very super professional, super modern design. And D, that we're making good on our commitment to producing free and open source software to the world. One of the things that's most important about free and open source software is not just accessibility, it's not just the fair play aspects, it's actually the longevity. It means that no matter what happens to us or our project or our team, anyone else from around the world can grab that code, can deploy that code, can extend that code, can reuse that code. So the application will always live on regardless of whatever situation for any of us individually. And that's super important. It means we're really contributing something to what I think Sean would call the global commons. Sean, do you want to jump in and have a chat about, I guess I'll just quickly get through the rest of this. So Talk Collaboration as a whole, which published the WL Dragnet investigation and this app build, every month we release our statistics and we let you know how we're going with the growth of that platform. The last month, or in December, we had 1,164 subscribers. That's now up to 1,344. So from November to December, we grew by 60 subscribers. From December to January, we grew by 180. So that's definitely a huge step in the right direction. Our number of paid subscribers did decrease as a percentage from December to January, but that's not surprising. With the mainstream coverage and us being sourced, Talk Collaboration being sourced by multiple mainstream publications, it brought a lot of new traffic to our site. And while they were really engaged with the content, we got tons of shares and tons of new subscribers. It's not surprising that when they don't know us and don't know our history, or what else we're involved in, that they haven't yet made the decision to pay for a subscription. But as we continue providing content month after month to those new subscribers, there is every likelihood that that percentage of subscribers that elect to pay for their subscriptions will correct upwards. I'm absolutely anticipating that. In terms of the percentage of people who are opening our emails and reading the content we send them, we're up 5%. So in January, we have a 32% average opening rate, ahead of the 27 that we had in December. So overall, hugely successful month for Talk Collaboration and really strong growth for that platform. And of course, 100% of the paid subscriptions for Talk Collaboration, the net profit from those subscriptions is funneled directly into the Panquake build. So everyone who elects to pay us $5 a month to contribute to TalkLib is in fact helping to advance us through our final funding round for the Panquake application. So really important, if you're a big supporter and you haven't subscribed already, please go to talkcollaboration.substack.com, sign up for a paid subscription, and you'll be supporting the build. Cool. So as you know, this is what we are after right now. We need to pull together. We need to hit this final target, and that will give us the funds that we need to build out the rest of the team that will support our users and our product through the delivery of the first application. So all of your donations, your shares, and the word of mouth, just telling people about the application, it's deeply appreciated. Every dollar that is donated is getting us closer to being done and dusted, having this phase 3 funding round completed and getting Panquake out to you all. Okay, I'll invite Sean now to come on and tell us a little bit about the WL Dragnet app release, the Getter investigation, the Panquake build. A really great moment for our team last week is that we were able to bring all our people together and actually demo the Panquake interface to them. So for the first time, they got to see it working. And Sean, you were there. Tell us a bit about that.
Sure. So lots of exciting stuff going on, right? But I think the thing that's most fun for us is actually seeing a working front end that can be clicked around. And as you said, windows resized, popping out, doing this beautiful, responsive, awesome design. So having the team see that, and it will just continue to keep building, improve, and so on. But seeing that be real, is such an exciting moment, I think, for everyone, and a real sort of reification of the thing that we've been working on for the past year or so. But really, the development's been even shorter than that, so it's really awesome.
Yeah, we only started coding in June, and that's something I'm not sure that many people realize. Because we did a really thorough planning phase, our devs have only been at it for 6 months, and to get to the point where our full team is getting to see a demo interface in such a short time is pretty spectacular.
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing. So that's been very cool. The release of the WL Dragnet as free and open source software, which we'll be doing this week, pretty soon. That's also another milestone for the reasons you stated, right? It proves that we know what we're doing. It proves that we're living up to our ethic, right? We're publishing this as free and open source software under licenses, so people can remix, can do whatever they wish with the code, which is great. But I think also both that and the Getter investigation, which we did, and I think continued investigations that we will do in Talk Liberation, those investigations also prove our ethic in a different way, right? So WL Dragnet was about social media surveillance, people being targeted for speech. The Getter investigation was about a network that does everything wrong that we're not going to do in Panquake, right? So it shows we really do understand the problems of social media at a very deep level. And we understand the security issues that can be raised by a global application being used by, hundreds of thousands, millions of users, and documented in detail the problems with this Getter application. So I think that does demonstrate, and I hope it demonstrates that we really do know what we're doing. We have the expertise, we have the ethics, and we have the people, which is really great. I do want to make a note on that part too, that we had security and privacy experts look at the WL Dragnet code. So we had Esther Onfroy, who's the founder of Exodus Privacy, which some of the FOSSI people watching may be familiar with. She audited and looked at our code for WL Dragnet, and we came out with flying colors, which is great. So yeah, really exciting stuff. Should I talk a little about the infrastructure, or what do you think, Suze?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, great. So I get excited about this topic. I hope you all will be as well. But obviously, we've been talking a lot about the way that Panquake works from a sort of back end perspective, right? We talk about our hosting in Iceland, green, hydroelectric energy, et cetera, et cetera. We talk about the blockchain and how public conversations will be, in a blockchain record that's distributed globally between users on the network and nodes on the network. We talk about how any information which would be considered personal or sensitive, we want the users to have control of on their own machines in their own private user data store. All of that means that we have to build an infrastructure, right? We have to build a network, map that out, plan it out, make sure we're resilient to attacks, right? Make sure we're resilient and censorship won't be an issue. We can circumvent issues globally on that global scale. So we've done a really good job mapping out the data, where the data is going, the types of services we need to distribute and make sure information flows correctly through the network. But really building that plan out, drilling down into it, and doing it in a detailed level is a project I'll be working on over the course of the next month plus, and it's going to be really exciting and really fun. So doing that at that scale and really seeing that part planned out nicely so that we can then realize it, right, when we reach the point of launching the beta is really excellent and should be fun. So.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that. Okay, I would just like to take a moment to recognize again Annalise Garcia, who is a very valued member of our team. She's our operations manager, and unfortunately we lost her a couple of months ago in an accident. And this month, both Sean and I spoke at Annalise's memorial service. And it was really amazing to get to meet and spend some time with those who are closest to her, who have been deeply appreciative of the efforts of the wider Panquake community to support Annalise. So I did just want to bring to your attention one more time the fundraiser for Annalise on GoFundMe, which you will find at this link. So it is gofundme.com/F/Annalise-Garcia-the-world-lost r-bright-light. But if you just search on Annalise Garcia, her name on GoFundMe, you'll find that page very quickly. Annalise is a super beautiful person who we were really lucky to have in our lives. We will not forget her, and we appreciate your support for herself and for her family as well. And of course, we will just finish off with the conclusion of every single one of our presentations, which is reminding everyone that you already answered the question if Panquake is coming. Panquake is coming. Panquake exists thanks to you. The only question now is when. When can everybody get their hands on Panquake? And that is, the power is in your hands to change the answer to the question when. The more shares, the more we talk about it, the more we introduce new people to Panquake and what we're doing with this project, the faster we get that phase 3 funding complete, the faster you all get to use Panquake. That day is coming and I can't wait for it personally. Anything else you want to add, Sean?
No, I'm just really excited to be at this point, and thank you all for supporting us so far. And if you keep supporting us, we'll get there together. So,
absolutely. I think I had my first opportunity to really reflect on how much progress we've made across the Christmas and New Year's period. I'm often so busy in the now of this project. What do we have to do today? What do we have to do tomorrow? What are we doing next week? That it's easy to not realize how much progress has been made. But sitting here a year in, having businesses in 3 countries, having amazing legal and accounting support in those 3 countries, having amazing suppliers, hosting companies, various other things, having an incredible and large committed team still tight together working on this every single week, having a functioning interface for an application that once upon a time really was just an idea we tossed around between us, and now we're actually seeing it working. It is an incredible position to be in, and another year from now we'll be light years ahead even of where we are today. So all of your support is how we got from where we were a year ago to where we are today, and your continued support is how we will get this over the line and deliver. So thank you so much. Go to panquake.com/donate, and we will see you for another delivery update at the end of February. Take care.